When I was interviewing for my first marketing jobs, I was telling the employers, the people who were considering whether or not they should hire me, that I was going to quit those jobs. I was telling them that I had specific plans to quit the job that they were hiring me for. Maybe that was a really stupid move. Maybe it was really smart. Maybe they admired the honesty. But with one employer, it worked. And I did end up quitting. And I want to share with you specifically why I did that, what you can learn from it, and what implication it has, even if you're like on past working for full-time employers and you've become a freelance copywriter and you're like looking at maybe a career that makes you very happy as a freelance copywriter right now. So it's a lot to cover in today's episode. Let's go ahead and dive in. These are the proven direct response marketing, copywriting, and entrepreneurship success strategies you can use today to write your own ticket and create the life you want. I am Roy Furr, and this is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Now, here's today's breakthrough. So what's the story here? What's the story of me telling these people that, hey, I'm going to quit my job. Like, you hire me, I'm going to quit. Well, I had discovered copywriting in early 2005, and I knew that I wanted to get a marketing job. I wanted to get a job that involved a lot of copywriting, specifically to build a bunch of success and to build a bunch of skills as a copywriter, as a marketer, with the full intention of moving beyond full-time employment and becoming a freelance copywriter working with clients. So I was clear about that. I told them that probably it would take a couple of years before I felt fully ready. And so in the interim, in those couple of years that I was with them in this job, if they gave me ample opportunity to succeed, my plan was to fully invest myself into creating a ton of success with them and for them, such that I would have like all of this positive track record to launch my freelance copywriting career off of. And the company that hired me, this IT training company, they knew it. They knew it. They knew that I had a life planned beyond working for them. That I was realistic about that. I was honest about that. And what that did for them is it made it clear that they had to give me opportunities that superseded my desire to go off and become a freelance copywriter. And so I did have a ton of opportunity to achieve and to experiment and to explore with copywriting marketing, and was able to create campaigns and help them launch offers and do all sorts of cool stuff. And I was working inside this entrepreneurial company and achieving some entrepreneurial success, even if I wasn't like there at the very beginning, right? While at the same time, I was setting myself up to become a full-time freelancer. But honestly, like, they did such a good job of keeping me comfortable and keeping me feeling like this was still a pretty good opportunity that it was kind of the curse of comfort, right? I did not move on nearly as fast as I originally intended. I did get some freelance clients on the side, but I stuck with them for a very long time. Maybe like all the free sushi, the Nerf wars, the traveling around the country to go to events, sometimes educational events, sometimes conferences where we were at the trade shows, etc. Like, maybe all that stuff added up to like, hey, this was worth sticking around for. And they also did provide me increasing compensation as I was contributing more value to the company. But all along the way, there was this understanding that freelancing, that going off and creating my own business and having all of that independence, that was my destination. That was my destination. And there is huge power in knowing what your destination is and what's next. Like, what do you want to do next? And it's what you're doing here is you're setting a GPS for your life, for your career, for whatever aspiration that you have. You're setting a GPS. And it's like, if I wanted to get to New York City and I was walking, that's going to take me a very long time to get there. But if I set my GPS towards New York City and I just start taking steps in that direction, and I take steps and take steps and take steps and take steps, I will eventually get there. I will eventually get to New York City, even if it's a far off destination, even if like if my GPS is pointed in that direction, I'm going to get to New York City or I'm going to die trying, right? And so I set freelancing as my destination. So even though it took me more time than I expected, I still got there. And so that was 2005 when I was doing those interviews. I started working with them in summer 2005. And on February 11th of 2010, I walked out of that job for the last time. So about 5 years. I walked out of that job for the very last time. I walked out of full-time employment for the very last time. And I wasn't going back. And I'm not going back. I went off and I built the freelance business that I had initially planned to build. Now, one of the great things about having freelancing as a destination the whole way is I did pick up some freelance clients on the side. I did gain some experience on the side. I was able to plan for it, and I was able to set aside some rainy day money that was going to be able to pay the bills as I launched my freelance business. Because it was my destination and intention, I knew, like, as it was coming closer, I was like, it's time. I have to figure out how to do this. And I went to an event in late fall of 2009. So this is a few months before I launched my full-time freelance career. And I connected with a bunch of clients, and I was able to start communicating with them and saying, hey, let's put something on my schedule. Like, let's work together. Let's put something on my schedule. And what actually happened is initially I planned to launch my full-time freelance business at the end of February of 2010. But because I was so crystal clear with that destination in my subconscious GPS, because I was so crystal clear about what I wanted to achieve, where I wanted to go, like, I was able to get these clients committing to doing projects to the point where I actually had to move my quit date up by a couple weeks. And I think it ended up being a Thursday. Maybe I don't remember right. I think it was a Thursday, and I decided to take the Friday off and the weekend off and start work on Monday. And then I was a full-time freelance copywriter. But then something happens. Most freelancers who've been in this for a while will share that they've had a similar experience. At first, it's like a new relationship. Like, all those chemicals that make us feel great going through the honeymoon period of a new relationship. We're like, this is awesome. Freelancing is awesome. I have all this independence. I can go do whatever I want. I can spend my time however I want. I can be wherever I want, whatever. Like, I'm not tied down. Then some of the realities of it hit you, just like in a relationship. Like, once you're getting through that honeymoon period where, oh, this person is just infallible, awesome, perfect, whatever. Then, like, the realities of living with a decision hit you, and things are not always perfect. Things are not always ideal. Things are not always infallible. And freelance copywriting is the same way. And so you start to run into these situations, like things like feast and famine, where, oh, you have a bunch of success, and then you've been so busy that you forget to keep your pipeline full, and then suddenly you don't have any success, and you're like scrambling to pay the bills, etc. Right? And so I started, in that time period, I started thinking, is freelancing all that I want? Is freelancing all that I want? And honestly, like, I had this crystal clear destination when I started my full-time marketing job, that freelancing was my what's next, right? But I didn't think when I started freelancing about the what's next. I didn't think about, okay, what does life look like if I'm just a freelance copywriter for decades? And there's aspects of that are super appealing. There's aspects of that where it's just like, oh, I just, sit back and don't have to think about any ambition or whatever. But honestly, like, with almost any kind of pursuit, if you don't have a destination, if you're not moving towards something, if you don't have a goal in mind, you're probably going to atrophy a little bit, and you may not find yourself being very happy. At least for me, like, I certainly experience that if I'm not growing in some capacity in some area, I start to get miserable. And I don't think that I was always as clear about this as I am now, but I have to feel like I'm making progress, like I have momentum, like I'm moving forward, like I have traction. And I have to think about what's next. And by being on that journey, Like it is being on, it's not getting to the destination, because I'm at the destination of freelance copywriting, right? I've been there since 2010. It's not being at the destination that makes you happy. It's working towards something. It's taking the journey that makes you happy. And even as any kind of rewards and accolades pile up, it's still the process of doing the work that makes us happy. It's the process of taking one step and the next and the next and next, and encountering challenges and overcoming challenges. And it starts when you think bigger. It starts when you think about what's next. And so what I'm going to say is, here we are at the end of 2021, December 2021, and I've been thinking about what's next. And I've been thinking about what's next in the context of what I deliver to you. And I know that my core audience is still copywriters, and it's going to be copywriters for a long time. And that's like, I serve copywriters, I am you, right? But also I serve copywriter-entrepreneurs. And these are people who have the skill of copywriting, but are not stuck to just, I want to be a staff copywriter or a freelance copywriter. It's people who have the skill of copywriting, but who have a bigger what's next than just writing copy for clients or employers. And so it involves things like being more entrepreneurial, growing more of a business. And so you're probably going to notice a kind of a subtle shift, sometimes more overt, in my messaging, where I'm going to be speaking more about things that are bigger than just being a freelance copywriter, things that are beyond freelancing. And it's all still in this fundamental foundation. That's why I call it a copywriter entrepreneur, because we have this foundation, this foundational skill of copywriting, which I believe is one of the most important, if not the most important skill in business, because the person who is able to make the customer show up at scale, the person who's able to make the money show up at scale, is the person that triggers everything else within a business to succeed. And so if that money's not showing up, if there are not customers coming in the door buying, everything else in the business can't run, right? Everything else can't happen if the customer's not showing up, if the money's not showing up. And copywriting is a very special skill, especially in the context of direct response and understanding what it takes to generate leads, customer sales, profits. And it's a skill that you do not have to constrain inside this little box of freelance copywriting and getting a client and getting a client project. It's a skill that is like vast and almost unlimited in the potential of what you can do with it. And that can be building your own business. That can be working with other people. That can be all sorts of things. And in fact, tomorrow, I'm doing a monthly insiders call for my BTMSinsiders members called Freedom Through Copywriting that explores this in more detail. So that's tomorrow, December 16th, 2021. And of course, the recordings of those are available afterwards if you do become a BTMSinsiders member. But this freedom through copywriting is about, okay, we have this skill set, and freelancing is like a first order freedom, a first level of freedom that you can achieve with this skill set. And it's awesome. Like, you control your time, you control your schedule, you control where you work, you control who you work with, you have all these freedoms that come from freelance copywriting. But then you think, is this what it's going to be? Is this all that it is? Is this like, am I forever stuck on this cycle of getting client fulfilling project, getting client fulfilling project, getting client fulfilling project? Or do I want to do something more? And I mean, if you find yourself completely satisfied with, all that I want to do is have a little bit of work and a little bit of income and I'm good, that's fine, right? That's fine. But for a lot of us who may have discovered copywriting because we have more of this entrepreneurial itch, I think that it really pays, both in terms of potential income, but also in terms of potential happiness, to start thinking beyond freelance copywriting, to think bigger. And so you're gonna hear me kind of challenging that freelance copywriting has to be the end. And I hope that you are excited to come along for this journey. Let me know in the comments with this episode, how valuable do you find this idea of like thinking beyond freelance copywriting, and why? What are your action items? What are your takeaways? What's your reaction? What are your thoughts as you're processing this? Like, do you have a bigger vision beyond freelance copywriting? Are you still just trying to get to freelance copywriting? Like, it's okay. Like, we're all at different spots on the journey, right? But what's your reaction to this? So leave that in the comments below. Tap the like button before you go so you get more content like this delivered to you. And so the magical algorithms of the internet know to share this with more people like you who will find it valuable. You can certainly share it with folks directly, and subscribe before you go. You can subscribe here. You can also go to breakthroughmarketingsecrets.com, sign up for my daily emails Monday through Friday, including episode notifications and more exclusive content for email subscribers, including, of course, we're going to be talking about what does it mean to move beyond freelance copywriting, or to take copywriting as a skill, as that foundational skill, and to do something even bigger and more exciting and maybe more impactful and change the world in ways that matter most to you, not just in terms of financial gain. Yes, that's important, but in terms of whatever impact you want to make on the world. So what do you do beyond freelance copywriting? We'll be talking about that more going forward. I'm Roy Furr. This is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets, your daily episode. I always aim for 10 out of 10 value with these. I hope I've delivered it today, and I will catch you soon with your next big breakthrough. Thank you once again for tuning in to this daily episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Remember, check out the links with this episode for even more value. Now make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and engage in every way you can to keep this show going and growing and delivering daily value to you. I'll catch you soon for your next big breakthrough.